that the oil price in India was low and the product's price, and the oil was hovering about $100 or $140 per barrel, they withdrew from retailing, while the public sector companies kept on selling even at a loss. The second point is that this agitation by oil sector people has been going on for 12 years, not just for 2 days. So when no one listened to them, only then they went to the strike. And this strike has been smashed in a very undemocratic manner by the government. And I don't know, if you keep unmotivated people, what would you get out of them? So I want to know the panel's views on this.
Right, we'll get them to answer you, but we are just having a discussion and the opinions. We have all the sides which are saying that, well, yes, strike should be used as a last resort, and no, and it's not really a positive sign there. Just a bit of information for a caller there. Yes,
yes,
he's raising a valid
just
point.
one answer,
yes,
one
Mr.
line
Pandey.
answer. ESMA, POTA, and all these weapons are not the answer. Negotiations to decide are the answer.
Well, my view is like Mr. Agrawal saying, I think we need to kind of, evolve a kind of mechanism so that, we can also use the expertise available with these officers so that we don't basically find ourselves in the kind of situation where they have to feel so angry, they feel that the government has smashed the strike. In fact, one of the morning newspaper used this headline, which I think is unfortunate, because after all, don't forget one thing, that they are very important part of the Indian nation, and we need them in order to make India an economic superpower. So my personal view is that we need to engage, we need to build this, expand this constituency, and I think therefore it is very important. I feel that it is the time has come now for the government now to give these companies genuine autonomy, tell them, look, this is what you have got from us, this is our mandate, and the government should step in only if they are doing something which is not in the country's interest. Otherwise, these companies are quite competent companies. These are managed by very nice people, and then let them also compete, and we would find that they would find a solution which would be then the best interest of the employees, officers, management, stakeholders, shareholder, government of India, you and me, and the entire nation.
Right, Mr. Singh, yes, coming to you now. One point that was also raised by was that perhaps it's been a step too harsh taken by the government. One of the panelists said that. Now, under these circumstances, what do you make of the entire situation here? What do we actually do in such a situation when there's a nation, when there are people, it's in public interest that you should call off the strike, and on the other side there are demands like these, and people go to strike measures.
मैं इससे पहले ये कहना चाहूँगा कि जिस तरह से कि आज 50 साल पहले जो सिस्टम था, आज मॉडर्न तरीके बदल गए हैं, मैनेजमेंट के तरीके बदल गए हैं, कंप्यूटर युग आ गया है, बड़ा फास्ट एक्शन की ज़रूरत होती है, हर जगह फास्ट. तो सोए रहने से और काम नहीं चलेगा, चाहे सरकार हो, चाहे प्राइवेट भी लोग हों, और उनको आज माइंडसेट चेंज करना पड़ेगा और आज के हालात के मुताबिक, और उनको सोचना चाहिए, सरकार को भी देखने, जैसे अब सैलरी है, अब जैसे पहले सैलरी बहुत कम हुआ करती थी, अब ग्लोबलाइजेशन के हमें करना पड़ेगा, कंपटीशन करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो हमारा अच्छा मैनेजर जो है सब बाहर चल जाएंगे. तो इस तरह से गवर्नमेंट को भी और ये सोचना चाहिए. और मैं समझता हूँ मेरे विचार में कि जैसे ये मैं पहले भी कहा है बात कि ये पेट्रोल वाली जो डीजल वाली जो स्ट्राइक थी, ये बहुत ही खतरनाक स्टेप था, बड़ा ड्रास्टिक स्टेप था. तो इसको रोकने के लिए सरकार को नेगोशिएशन करके ठीक करना चाहिए था, लेकिन अगर ये रुकता ना तो मैं समझता हूँ इसका बहुत बड़ा लॉस होता. ये जो भी, लेकिन हम वेरी सॉरी कि भी इस तरह से स्टेप करके करना पड़ा है. जैसे कई बार डॉक्टर को बड़ा सीरियस ऑपरेशन करना पड़ता है, विलिंग ना होते हुए भी वो ऑपरेशन करना पड़ता है. तो ऐसी मजबूरी के लिए अगर कोई ऐसा करना भी पड़ा है तो मैं समझता हूँ देश को बचा लिया है. अगर ये स्ट्राइक और ज्यादा चलती, देश का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हो.
Right, Mr. Pandey, we have few minutes left to close the show. Now we have one very strong opinion here that perhaps this was not really a step that should have been taken first of all, and if it was taken, some sorts of measures had to be taken by the government to call off, so in public interest. Your last comment on this?
Public interest needs greater definition. Public interest means people's interest also. It doesn't mean the interest of just the upper middle classes or some other classes. Truckers are lifeline of the nation. They have been putting their demands from year to year. I've been seeing it, and similarly as far as public sector employees too. I think the time is that we recognize our Navratnas. It's time we recognize that India is not America. It is time we recognize
So
that
what's the way out? In one line, if you could just tell what's the way out? Mr. Tanya is highlighting probably there should be a mechanism, there should be negotiation, there should be a platform to discuss everything, and autonomy of some kind should be given.
Frankly, an alternative system is the ultimate answer. Meanwhile, rather than tinkering with solutions, we have to have the desire to negotiate and negotiate fast before the economy bursts into a bubble, the results of which are already being faced in the West. This is the lesson, and this is also a warning. The strike unconsciously, though it is all coincidental that there are two strikes.
Right, perhaps there should be some desire to do. Yes, one
Desire to
final,
act,
one
the
final
will
line
to
from
act.
you. And
See, my view is
Not
that
to
you see,
dilly-dally.
we got to modernize our mindset. This is 2009, and I think dream of each and every Indian should be this: we have to make an Indian economic superpower.
Right.
Then we work backward how we do that. And I think the best solution is we make all our employees, all our workers stakeholders. You make them stakeholders. I'm not saying shareholders, stakeholders. Make them involved. You know, when you are looking at the future, when you're looking at the future of the company, make them participate in the whole vision, and then you will find and treat them. It's very important. Treat them like colleagues, like your
Right,
partner.
right.
Then we will be building a new
right,
India.
I'll have to interrupt you. Mr. Serene, one fast closing line, if you can just tell us, we'll close.
मुझे ये कहना है कि स्ट्राइक्स तो एक लास्ट रिजॉर्ट रहना चाहिए, और दूसरा हमारा कंट्री जो है इसमें ऑलरेडी हॉलीडेज बहुत होती हैं. जैसे फॉरेन कंट्रीज में हॉलीडे बहुत कम होती हैं, यहाँ तो हर हफ्ते कोई ना कोई त्यौहार, कोई ना कोई आता
Right,
है.
so perhaps
इसलिए अगर
strike
स्ट्राइक्स भी हो जाए और हॉलीडेज भी हो, तो इस वक्त जो हम सुपर पावर देश को बनाना चाहते हैं वो नहीं बना पाएंगे. हमें सबको ही, सरकार को भी सोचना चाहिए और पब्लिक को भी
Right,
सोचना चाहिए,
absolutely.
अपना माइंड सेट
Thanks.
चेंज करना चाहिए.
Right, thanks very much. It's time to close the show. Thanks very much for joining and taking part. Well, yes, absolutely. Lots of viewpoints coming in from the panelists. But the foundational principle of a liberal democracy is that my liberty ends where your nose begins. That is, the liberty of one man cannot come in the way of another. Many would agree that this is both practically, ethically correct. But is there theory applicable in the case of Buns? Is a question that remains to be answered. That's all in this episode of Public Forum. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.